The massive alien warship appeared without warning in Earth's orbit, its dark hull blocking out the stars like an artificial eclipse. Captain James Miller stood on the bridge of the USS Defender, Earth's newest space battleship, watching the tactical display with growing concern. This wasn't how humanity had hoped first contact would go. "Sir, they're broadcasting on all frequencies," reported Lieutenant Tom Reed, his fingers dancing across the holographic communications panel. It's a declaration of war." The alien message was simple and arrogant. "Your planet belongs to the Dominion now. Surrender or be destroyed." Miller's jaw tightened. Humanity had only achieved faster-than-light travel 5 years ago, and already they were facing an interstellar empire. The odds seemed impossible. The alien vessel was nearly 5 times the size of the Defender. "Like hell we will," Miller muttered, then raised his voice. "Battle stations! Get me fleet command!" The response from Earth was immediate. While the politicians argued about diplomatic solutions, the military prepared for war. What the aliens didn't know was that humanity had been preparing for this moment for centuries. Every war, every conflict had taught them something. And they had learned their lessons well. "Sir, the alien ship is powering up weapons," called out Commander Anna White from Tactical. "Energy readings are off the charts." Miller smiled grimly. "Let them make the first move. Activate the shield array. Charge all weapon systems but hold fire." The alien vessel fired first a massive beam of purple energy that should have vaporized the Defender instantly. Instead, the advanced human shields, reverse-engineered from a crashed alien scout ship decades ago, absorbed the blast completely. "Shield strength at 92%, reported White, unable to hide her satisfaction. "They didn't expect that." "Show them what humanity can do," ordered Miller. "Fire the quantum cascade cannon." The Defender's main weapon, a technological marvel that even most humans didn't understand, powered up with a deep humming that resonated through the ship. When it fired, it wasn't just a beam or a projectile, it was a rupture in space-time itself, focused into a weapon. The alien ship shields, impressive as they were, might as well have been tissue paper. The quantum cascade tore through their defenses and carved a clean hole through their hull. Secondary explosions blossomed across their vessel as systems overloaded. "Direct hit," White announced. "Their power core is destabilizing." Miller opened a channel to the alien ship. "This is Captain James Miller of Earth. We didn't want this fight, but we'll finish it. Withdraw now, or we'll be forced to destroy you completely." The alien response came in the form of emergency transport signatures as they evacuated their crippled vessel. Moments later, their ship exploded in a spectacular display of light and energy. As the debris settled into new orbits around Earth, Miller knew this was just the beginning. The Dominion wouldn't take this defeat lightly. They would return with more ships, more weapons, thinking they could overwhelm humanity with sheer numbers. What they didn't understand was that humans had spent their entire history preparing for this moment. Every war, every battle, every conflict had honed their skills and advanced their technology. They had learned to turn their greatest weakness, their tendency for warfare, into their greatest strength. "Send word to all Earth Defense Forces," Miller commanded. "The war has begun. And we will show these aliens why humanity has survived every challenge we've ever faced." As the Defender turned toward Earth, its quantum engines glowing with barely contained power, the message was clear. Humanity wasn't just ready for war, they were masters of it. And the Dominion was about to learn why picking a fight with humans was the last mistake they would ever make. 3 days after the destruction of the first alien warship, the Dominion returned. This time, they brought an armada. 500 warships dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation, their black hulls blotting out entire star systems from Earth's view. Each ship was larger than the first one humanity had destroyed, bristling with weapons that could reduce planets to ash. In the United Earth Defense Command Center deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Robert Hayes watched the tactical display with steady eyes. Around him, dozens of officers coordinated Earth's response to what seemed like certain doom. "Enemy fleet holding position just beyond Mars orbit," reported Major Linda Cooper. "They're broadcasting again, sir." The alien commander's hologram appeared in the center of the command room. Its crystalline form pulsed with angry red light as it spoke. Your defiance was impressive, humans. But it ends now. You cannot hope to defeat the combined might of the Dominion fleet. Surrender, and we may spare some of your species as servants. Hayes didn't bother responding to the transmission. Instead, he pressed a button on his command console. This is General Hayes to all Earth Defense Forces. Execute Operation Thunderbolt. Across the solar system, humanity's true military power revealed itself. Hundreds of automated defense platforms, previously hidden in asteroid fields and planetary rings, powered up their weapons. Stealth satellites, invisible even to the Dominion's advanced sensors, activated their targeting systems. But these were just the beginning. Mars Defense Grid online, reported Cooper. Jupiter Station reports ready. Saturn Ring Defense Array at full power. The alien commander's hologram flickered as it registered the sudden appearance of human weapons platforms throughout the solar system. What is this? Our scans showed nothing but primitive defenses. Hayes allowed himself a small smile. You're not the first species to try conquering Earth, and you won't be the last to fail. Commence firing. The solar system itself seemed to come alive with weapons fire. The Mars Defense Grid launched thousands of quantum-tipped missiles, each one capable of piercing the strongest alien shields. The Jupiter Station's gravity lance twisted space itself, crushing dozens of Dominion ships into balls of compressed matter. But it was the Saturn Ring Defense Array that truly demonstrated humanity's mastery of war. The seemingly innocent ice rings of Saturn lit up with energy as thousands of microscopic nanite weapons platforms activated. They formed into a swarm that moved like a living thing, devouring alien ships and converting their mass into more weapons. Dominion fleet losing cohesion, Cooper announced. They're trying to retreat, but the quantum disruption field is active. They can't enter hyperspace. The alien commander's hologram showed genuine fear now. This is impossible. You're supposed to be a primitive species. How did you hide all this? Hayes stood up, facing the hologram. We didn't hide it. You just didn't look hard enough. Humanity learned long ago that the best weapon is the one your enemy doesn't know exists until it's too late. Enemy casualties at 60% and climbing, reported Cooper. The nanite swarm is adapting to their countermeasures faster than they can deploy them. The alien commander made one last attempt at dignity. The Dominion will not forget this. We will return with Dash. No, Hayes interrupted. You won't. Because after today, the Dominion will understand something that every would-be conqueror of Earth has learned the hard way. Humanity doesn't just fight wars. We master them. He turned to Cooper. Signal the Titan base. Launch the planet crackers. From beneath the icy surface of Saturn's largest moon, massive railguns extended into space. They fired projectiles at speeds approaching light itself, each shot calculated to thread through the maze of human defenses and strike the remaining alien ships with devastating precision. The battle was over in minutes. Where once 500 Dominion warships had threatened Earth, now only debris remained, a new artificial ring system that would serve as a warning to any other species with conquest in mind. Hayes looked at the tactical display showing the remnants of the alien fleet. Send a message to the Dominion homeworld. Tell them Earth is off limits. And if they ever return. He paused, letting the destruction around him finish the sentence. The victory over the Dominion fleet should have been the end. Instead, it was just the beginning of something far worse. 2 weeks after the battle, Earth's long-range sensors detected something that made even General Hayes pause. 3 massive spherical objects, each the size of Earth's moon, emerging from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. Analysis confirms they're Dominion world destroyers, Captain Frank Wilson reported in the command center. The legends were true. They actually built them. World destroyers were considered myths, planet-sized weapons platforms that could tear worlds apart at a molecular level. No one had ever confirmed their existence, until now. They're not taking any chances this time, Hayes muttered. He turned to his staff. Get me Project Oracle. Now, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility known only to a handful of humans, Dr. Alice Carter received the call she'd been both expecting and dreading. For 30 years, she and her team had worked on humanity's ultimate weapon, hoping they'd never need to use it. "The world destroyers are here," Hayes' hologram told her. "How soon can Oracle be ready?" Carter looked at the massive quantum computer that filled the underwater facility. "Sir, Oracle isn't just a weapon. Once we activate it, there's no going back. The very nature of reality in this solar system will change. Doctor, those things out there can literally tear Earth apart. We're out of options." Carter nodded grimly. "Understanding that, sir. Oracle can be ready in 6 hours." The world destroyers moved with terrifying purpose, ignoring all attempts at communication. Their surfaces bristled with weapons that made their previous ships look like toys. The lead sphere fired a single shot at Neptune, and Earth's eighth planet simply ceased to exist, its matter scattered across space. "A demonstration," came the transmission from the Dominion command sphere. "Surrender Earth now, or watch as we unmake your world piece by piece." Hayes watched the destruction of Neptune with cold fury. "How long, Dr. Carter?" 2 more hours, sir. Oracle's quantum matrices are still aligning." The world destroyers were passing Jupiter now. The massive gas giant's powerful magnetic field didn't even slow them down. All of humanity's previous defensive systems, the nanite swarms, the quantum weapons, even the planet crackers seemed insignificant against these cosmic engines of destruction. 1 hour, Carter reported. "Sir, everyone needs to be warned. When Oracle activates, physics itself will change within the solar system. Anything not protected by our quantum shielding will experience time differently." Hayes understood. They were about to rewrite the rules of reality itself. "Send the code to all Earth forces. Protected facilities only. Everyone else goes to deep bunkers." The world destroyers reached Mars. This time, they didn't bother with a demonstration shot. The entire planet exploded, reduced to its component atoms in seconds. "Oracle ready," Carter announced. Her voice was steady, but her hands shook as she initiated the startup sequence. "Sir, I need final authorization." Hayes looked at the tactical display showing the 3 massive spheres now approaching Earth. They were beyond anything humanity had expected to face, beyond any conventional defense. But humanity's greatest weapon wasn't conventional at all. "Authorization granted," Hayes said. "God help us all." In the depths of the Pacific, Oracle awakened. It wasn't just a computer, it was a machine that could manipulate the quantum foundation of reality itself. As it powered up, space and time began to warp around Earth. The effect was subtle at first. The world destroyers didn't even notice as their weapons started firing microseconds slower. Then seconds slower. Then minutes. "What is happening?" the Dominion commander demanded as their mighty spheres began to drift off course. "Our weapons are out of phase." Carter watched the readings with a mixture of awe and horror. "Oracle is creating a quantum bubble around our solar system. Inside it, we can control the very fabric of space-time. To us, everything appears normal. To them." On the tactical display, the world destroyers seemed to freeze in place. Their weapons' fire moved so slowly it was barely perceptible. The mighty spheres that had destroyed planets were now trapped in a region of space where time flowed like molasses. "Take aim," Hayes ordered. "All Earth forces, fire at will. Let's show them what humanity can do when we have all the time in the world." Inside Oracle's quantum bubble, Earth's military forces launched their counterattack. The world destroyers, massive and terrifying as they were, now moved with agonizing slowness, trapped in a region of space where time flowed thousands of times slower than normal. "All weapons platforms showing green," Captain Wilson reported. "Ready to fire on your command." General Hayes stood at the command center, watching the tactical display where the 3 enormous spheres hung motionless against the stars. "Begin the attack pattern. Remember, even in slow time, those shields are still the strongest we've ever encountered." Earth's combined fleet moved into position. Without the pressure of the world destroyer's immediate threat, they could take their time, planned their shots with perfect precision. The planet crackers from Titan Base aligned their trajectories. The nanite swarms formed into precise geometric patterns, ready to exploit any weakness. But Dr. Carter's voice cut through the preparations. "Sir, we have a problem. The world destroyers, they're adapting." On the main screen, the surface of the nearest sphere was changing. Despite the time differential, despite being caught in what should have been an inescapable trap, the Dominion's technology was somehow responding. "Impossible," Carter whispered. "They're generating their own temporal field. They're trying to match our time stream." The sphere in the lead began to move faster, its weapons powering up as it adjusted to the altered physics around it. The Dominion's voice boomed through all channels, distorted but understandable. "Did you think you were the only ones who had mastered time, humans?" Hayes' face hardened. "Dr. Carter, what are our options?" "Oracle can't maintain the field if they're actively fighting it," she reported. "We have maybe 20 minutes before their temporal matching is complete. After that..." She didn't need to finish. After that, Earth would face 3 world destroyers at full power, with their greatest weapon neutralized. But Hayes smiled. It wasn't a pleasant expression. "They took our bait." Carter blinked. "Sir? Oracle was never meant to be our final weapon, Doctor. It was meant to make them show us theirs." He turned to Wilson. "Execute Protocol Omega. Immediate effect." Throughout the solar system, hidden quantum sensors recorded every detail of how the world destroyers were matching Earth's temporal field. Each fluctuation, each adjustment, was analyzed and mapped. The massive quantum computer networks built into Mercury's core processed the data in real time. "Sir," Wilson reported, "we're detecting quantum signatures we've never seen before. Their temporal technology is connected to their main power cores." Hayes nodded. "And now we know exactly how they work. Send the data to all ships. Update targeting protocols." The world destroyers were moving faster now, nearly matching normal time. Their weapons began to power up, reality-destroying cannons preparing to fire. But Earth's forces didn't retreat. "All ships, synchronize quantum frequencies to match their temporal fields," Hayes ordered. "Prepare to fire on my mark." The nearest world destroyer fired its main weapon. The beam of energy that had destroyed Neptune lanced out, but this time, Earth's ships were ready. Their shields, reconfigured to match the exact quantum frequency of the Dominion's temporal field, didn't just block the attack. They reflected it. The beam bounced back at its source, synchronized perfectly with the world destroyer's own temporal field. There was no time for the Dominion to react as their own weapon struck their hull, amplified by the quantum resonance of thousands of human ships focusing their shield energy at the same point. The explosion was spectacular. The world destroyer didn't just explode, it collapsed in on itself, its matter crushed into a point of infinite density by its own power turned against it. "Target locked on the remaining world destroyers," Wilson announced. "Same quantum frequency confirmed." Hayes watched as the remaining spheres tried to adjust their defenses, but it was too late. Earth had the key to their destruction, their own power, their own technology, turned back against them with devastating precision. "Fire!" Hayes commanded. "Show them that humanity's greatest weapon isn't our technology. It's our ability to learn from our enemies." The destruction of the world destroyers sent shockwaves through the galaxy. No species had ever defeated even one of these planet-killing weapons, let alone 3. But the Dominion wasn't finished. Deep in interstellar space, they had one final card to play. Multiple hyperspace signatures detected, Wilson announced in the command center. "Biggest reading we've ever seen." The tactical display lit up as something emerged from hyperspace, a single massive ship that dwarfed even the world destroyers. Its surface was covered in crystal-like structures that pulsed with dark energy, and its very presence seemed to distort the space around it. The Dominion Emperor himself. Hayes breathed. They're actually desperate enough to send their supreme leader. The Emperor's voice boomed across all frequencies, its power making instruments fluctuate wildly. "Humans. You have proven more troublesome than any species we have encountered in 10,000 years of conquest. For this, you have earned the honor of facing me personally. Dr. Carter's hologram appeared in the command center, her face grave. Sir, the energy readings from that ship, they're beyond anything we've ever seen. Oracle can't affect it at all. The Emperor's vessel moved with impossible speed, crossing the distance from Neptune's orbit to Earth in seconds. Its weapons were unlike anything seen before, not beams or projectiles, but tears in reality itself that erased anything they touched from existence. All ships, evasive action. Hayes ordered as the defensive fleet scattered. But they weren't the target. The Emperor was heading straight for Earth. You think you understand war? The Emperor's voice rumbled. You think your clever tricks and stolen technology make you our equals? Let me show you true power. The crystal structures on the Emperor's ship began to glow with blinding intensity. Space itself began to crack around Earth, reality straining under the power being brought to bear. But Hayes was smiling again. Sir? Wilson asked, confused by his commander's calm in the face of apparent doom. Tell me, Wilson. What's the one thing we've learned about the Dominion in all our battles with them? Wilson thought for a moment. They always use overwhelming force. Maximum power. Exactly. Hayes opened a channel to the Emperor's ship. Your Majesty. Before you destroy us, I have to thank you. There was a pause in the reality-cracking attack. Thank me? Yes. You see, we've been studying your weapons, your tactics, your very nature. And we discovered something interesting. You always go straight for maximum power. You never hold back. Which means... Hayes nodded to Carter. Her hologram smiled as she entered a final command into Oracle's systems. You never learn the importance of precision. Across the solar system, thousands of tiny quantum sensors activated. Each one was infinitesimal compared to the Emperor's power, barely worth noticing. But they were everywhere in the debris of the destroyed world destroyers, in the scattered remains of the First Fleet, even in the dust of the destroyed planets. And they were all connected, forming a vast network that had been gathering data on every demonstration of Dominion power. Now! Hayes commanded. The sensors fired simultaneously. Not with world-destroying power, but with precisely calculated quantum pulses that matched the exact frequency of the Emperor's reality-warping crystals. Each pulse was tiny, harmless on its own. But there were thousands of them, all perfectly synchronized. The Emperor's ship shuddered as its crystal structures began to resonate with the quantum pulses. What is this? The thing about crystals, Carter explained over the channel, is that even the strongest ones can shatter if you find the right frequency. Add in quantum entanglement effects. The massive ship's crystal structures began to vibrate, then crack. The Emperor's voice rose in alarm as his source of power turned against him. Impossible! We are the masters of reality itself. No, Hayes replied calmly. You're just the masters of brute force. We humans? We've learned there's always a way to beat raw power. You just have to be smart enough to find it. The crystal structures exploded in a cascade of quantum energy, transforming the Emperor's mighty vessel into a spectacular display of light and radiation. The ship that had threatened to unmake Earth was itself unmade, undone not by superior firepower, but by humanity's understanding of its weaknesses. As the light faded, Hayes looked at the tactical display showing the retreating signatures of the few surviving Dominion ships. Send them a message. Tell them Earth is now off limits. And if they ever return... They won't, Carter interrupted. They finally understand what they're dealing with. Not just warriors or scientists, but both. That's what makes humans different. 1 month after the destruction of the Dominion Emperor's ship, Earth was changed forever. The debris of battle still orbited the sun, a glittering reminder of humanity's greatest victory. But more importantly, the galaxy had changed its view of the small blue planet and its inhabitants. In the United Earth Defense Command Center, General Hayes stood before the World Council, delivering his final report on the war. The Dominion has withdrawn completely from our solar system, he announced to the assembled leaders. Our long-range sensors show their empire is fracturing. Without their emperor and their world destroyers, their subject species are rebelling. And what of our losses? Asked the council president, an older man named Bill Thompson. The cost of this victory? Hayes activated a holographic display showing the solar system. Where Mars and Neptune had once orbited, only asteroid fields remained. 2 planets destroyed. 15,000 military casualties. But Earth survived. Humanity survived. And we're stronger than ever. Dr. Carter stepped forward, her own holographic displays showing readings from Oracle and the quantum sensor network. The technology we developed to fight the Dominion has advanced our understanding of physics by centuries. We can now manipulate time, space, and reality itself in ways we never imagined possible. And that's what worries us, Thompson said. We've proven ourselves to be perhaps the most dangerous species in the galaxy. What's to stop us from becoming what we just defeated? The room fell silent. It was the question everyone had been avoiding now that humanity had demonstrated its mastery of war. What would they do with that power? Captain Wilson, who had been quietly monitoring communications, suddenly spoke up. Sir, we're receiving transmissions. Hundreds of them, from different alien species. Threats? Hayes asked, tensing. No, sir. They're requests for alliance. Protection. Trade agreements. Wilson looked up from his screen. They're not afraid of us becoming conquerors. They're hoping we'll be defenders. Carter smiled. Of course. The Dominion saw our warlike nature as primitive. But they never understood what made us different from them. We don't fight because we love war. We fight because we love peace enough to defend it. Hayes nodded, turning back to the council. The Dominion fought for power. For conquest. But every weapon we developed, every tactic we used, was created to protect. To defend. That's the real reason we won, not because we were stronger, but because we were fighting for something worth fighting for. Thompson leaned forward. And now? What do we do with this power? We do what humans have always done, Hayes replied. We learn. We grow. We help others do the same. He gestured to the streams of incoming diplomatic requests. These species aren't looking for a new dominion. They're looking for helpers. Teachers. Protectors. The council chambers erupted in discussion as plans were made, proposals suggested, and humanity's new role in the galaxy took shape. Earth would not become an empire. Instead, it would become something far more powerful, a defender of freedom, a teacher of knowledge, and a guardian against those who would follow in the Dominion's footsteps. 1 week later, the first alien diplomatic ships arrived in Earth orbit. They passed through the debris field of the Great Battle, their sensors recording the destruction of what had once been the galaxy's most powerful empire. But they also saw something else: construction ships rebuilding, research vessels studying the remnants of advanced technology, and Earth ships patrolling not as conquerors, but as guardians. In his office overlooking the reconstruction, Hayes read the latest reports. The quantum technology that had won the war was already being adapted for peaceful purposes: healing, exploration, building. The knowledge gained from the Dominion's weapons was being transformed into tools for creation rather than destruction. Incoming transmission from the Galactic Council, Wilson reported. They're ready to recognize Earth as a protector species. Hayes looked out at the stars, thinking of all the battles that had led to this moment. Humanity had proven itself the master of war, yes. But more importantly, they had proven themselves worthy of peace. Send our response, he said. Tell them Earth accepts, not as conquerors, not as rulers, but as guardians. Because that's what humans do best: we protect what matters, we fight for what's right, and we never, ever stop trying to make things better. The message was sent, and a new chapter in human history began. The species that had been forced to master war had chosen to become masters of peace instead. And the galaxy was better for it.